What's happening, everybody?
Hey, this is a little bit different.
It is very different. You look so much younger and you have so much more hair, Larry.
I know, it's weird, isn't it?
It is crazy.
I also went to a reverse sauna and not sauna, dang it, tanning bed.
Oh, there you go. That's good, Tom. Hey guys, so we're here. We're going to do another episode of Keeping It Real.
That we are.
And we're going to do this about generational gaps.
Generational gaps, yeah. Age gaps.
Age gaps. Understanding, trying to be more open-minded would be my main point here, Tom.
Right.
So, being someone younger, like, what are your aggravations, like, say, with people that are older? Like,
technology and not getting it, no matter how many times you explain it. I'm speaking very much from experience. I've had to tell Dad how to open a new tab or close a tab just on a web page repeatedly.
He texts with one finger like this.
That he does. He types like that too. He's actually a bit faster typing on a keyboard than he is on his phone.
A bit, not much.
A bit. But, you know, I can understand that. He didn't grow up with it, I did, and he never really used the computer all that much until recently.
Right, yeah, because he didn't really have to. With his job, like my job, I need the computer every day, so I'm a very quick typer.
Right,
and do it.
You had to learn how to type quick because you need to learn how to type quickly.
Yeah, I remember when I got my job, my first one back in 2004, it was a long time ago. I had to take a typing test, and I thought I would have failed it. Luckily, for some reason, the HR forgot to give it to me and hired me without doing it, so I think I would have failed it.
Well,
but you get good the more you do it, so...
Yeah.
He's still slow at texting,
and like, oh yeah, he's
tweeting.
So slow. Well, like, tweeting is not like a time limit to that. He just kind of does that whenever.
Yeah.
Like, texting, there's kind of a thing where you text quickly back to reply.
You're right. You try to ask him a question over text, you have to...
Yeah, and we're just kind of bashing him at this point,
just because he's not here. We hope you're having fun on vacation, Larry. You know, we appreciate the old...
Disney World.
Yeah, right? It was perfect. Speaking of being young at heart, he went to Disney World.
Yeah, no kidding.
So I think... I was thinking about this earlier when we knew what we were talking about, and I was thinking about like how I am now and how I was when I was younger, and I have an 18-year-old cousin.
Right.
Who I tend to give... And I talk to you a lot too because you're younger and we see each other every week, right?
Yeah.
My cousin, I try to give him advice that I would want at his age. Like he's ready to graduate high school. And I'm like, dude, you know what? Just take the last 3 days of high school, try and slow it down. I know you're excited, but you're gonna eventually at some point look back on this fondly. And maybe you'll miss it. You know, just try and embrace. And just give advice. But I think when I was younger, and my uncle, who was cooler and not that much older than me, gave me advice, I wouldn't really listen. Well, yeah,
because you're a young teenager, obviously you know everything. You've been through high school, so obviously you know what the world has to throw at you.
Right.
More so if you're in a city school, I guess.
Right. Yeah, maybe then you'd be tougher.
I'm making pure assumptions here. This is,
We went to school in the country. Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I will say, like, one big, like, gap thing that I've always found is that, like, and I think is probably the biggest cause of generational gap in this day and age, is technology. I mean, you figure, in my lifetime, we went from dial-up computers that had huge monitors, and everybody had, like, if you even had a computer, it was just, like, this standard, like, tower that everybody had, to now there's custom machines and, like, giant TVs that are flat screen, but take up as much size as, or take up as much room as a TV of a screen that was only half the size.
You were, like, 20 inches, you know what I mean? 20-inch TV would be, like, that deep and like that wide, it'd be like a big, huge rectangle.
Exactly.
But
and cell phones especially.
Without a doubt. I think that, especially with communication that way, I think that, because now the younger generation tends to use that more often.
Right, because obviously it's like, it's there, it's a tool that we find, and it's a tool that we will use.
Right.
Like my age is like kind of like right in the weird middle, where like some of us do have all these social media things, some of us don't. So like, I don't have a Facebook for one, but like, a lot of other people my age do. Or like, Twitter. Not everybody's gonna have a Twitter. I happen to have a Twitter, which is, you know, it's something, at the very least.
I remember when I first opened my Twitter up, I had Facebook forever, but I used it to keep in contact with my friends from college and high school that I don't see on a daily basis.
Facebook is kind of more geared for, like...
personal connections.
Yeah, like personal connections between people who you know and, like, those who you, like, can just find, I guess. I worded that wrong. Whatever. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think you're right. I think there is a big Like, you know, but now older. But my mom has Facebook. She's way older. You know,
right.
Your dad has a Facebook technically, but he does Twitter. So I mean, I think that the important thing is that you continue to try to relate.
Right.
And either way, I mean, like I try. Like there's things that young people do, like you guys, like the whole dabbing thing, that really honestly annoy me.
There's some newer things that are just, they're annoying.
Right. When I try to think to myself, why do they annoy me? And I'll say it's because the older you get, the more of your childness, whatever you want to call it, you lose. It's the
childlike innocence.
Yeah, right. The more you experience, the more innocence you lose. But you know, you forget. Like I forget what it's like to get that giddy about something silly like that and thinking it's funny. I'm sure I did stupid stuff like that in the day. I forget. Like I used to say psych all the time. Like, oh look, there's a bird.
What?
Psych!
Oh, you got me.
Yeah, see, right. You know, but you forget that. So when you look at you just try and stop and realize, okay, they're young. They even now, like my kids, like they get excited about certain things, and it reminds me to be more childlike. But with the teenage years, and it just seems, I think if more people take time to just stop and think and try and remember where they were coming from,
right,
and kind of understand, there'd be a lot less anger towards the youth.
One thing I kind of also think with this stems back into kind of everything at this point. I think usually like teenagers, since they're at the age where they're trying to find out like, okay, what am I good at? What am I doing here? What am I doing? But because they're suffering from information overload, either just from other people on social media or just the media in general, and not even just like the news, just like looking stuff up on their phone, like whatever it could be.
Right.
Just suffering from such an overload of it that they're kind of just overwhelmed and it stresses them out, kind of, you know?
Yeah. And I think I would never even understand that. Like I see what you're saying when you say it, it makes sense to me. Yeah. But I would never think of that, I should say. I would never think of that. So like I know when I try to get like my cousin advice, and because in one ear and out the other, sometimes it doesn't, but if it does,
they're trying to like figure out how they can be independent,
else, right.
But because everything is just kind of on them already,
right.
It's just like, well, things are already here, so how am I supposed to be independent, sort of thing.
Right. So so if your dad gives you advice about something, like how would you take that? Like, is it, well, I understand that you've been here, you've done that, but when you did it was way different, so your advice is kind of irrelevant, or
there's, it really depends on the situation.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like socially, the world's changed.
Right, I think so.
Like, there's no more tight-knit communities. Like, best way I could describe it, and like this is kind of turning more into just like technology keeping it real than
whatever. Talk's turning what they are, but we're keeping it real.
It still applies.
This is real.
So like, imagine like each like town or something is like, actually more than that. Each person is like a bubble.
Right.
When you make personal connections, you're kind of like attaching your bubble to somebody else's bubble.
Yeah, like when you get like bubbles that meet in the middle. Like,
right, and then you like do that. But the internet kind of like is like thread that attaches the bubbles together.
Oh yeah.
And what some people don't seem to get is that though they have like their own like personal closer bubbles,
yeah,
they have these threads that link them to everyone else. And like because of this, it creates these divides where it's like you're not actually my personal bubble, but I can feel a sort of connection to you, which is, it's like celebrities, basically. And, like, why, like, big-name YouTubers just have these, like, celebrity-like followings, because, like, these people have all attached their bubble threads to your bubble.
Right, like, it makes sense. And right, and you can, it's a personal, like, usually it's a personal connection.
Right.
With the different bubbles, what you're saying. Those threads are just personal connections. Where back when we were growing up,
you only had the bubbles.
It was just a personal connections, right? It was the physical.
You may have had a few like longer links because of just like phone conversations.
Yeah, but even then though, you would have
to know the person already.
At some point, you would have had that right.
Yeah.
I mean, we did have chat rooms in my day.
Right.
But that was when I was in, but they weren't
like AOL.
Yeah, but you're right. Everyone had AOL, but you know, I graduated high school in '97. I think my first computer class was offered in '96.
Right.
And it was like programming.
Right.
I think they had keyboarding too, but I remember taking typewriting in high school, so I was right in that where everything was changing. So like my freshman year I had typewriting, my sophomore year I had keyboarding, you know what I mean? Ooh, keyboarding.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically the same thing already.
Yeah, but I remember doing the Oregon Trail and stuff with the computers when I was in
Oregon Trail,
first or second grade, so we had computers throughout, they were never really relevant.
Right.
I used microfiche to research my research papers. No, I'm just kidding. Not really.
Anyway though, like one thing that I think that the older generation kind of doesn't get is the threads. Is what I was trying to get to.
No, I understand. I think what those threads are, it's the personal connection.
Right, they're used to these close personal connections of,
right, which is
like, reaching out and being in someone else's bubble.
Bubble to bubble, right.
They're not used to there being invisible threads, and, like, they're able to, like, affect your bubble. Like, they yank on their thread, pull your bubble a little bit, even though you don't want them to.
Yeah.
Or even if you do, and then they just try to, and then, like, older generations just don't know what to do, because it's like they haven't experienced this.
Yeah, I think maybe the more they experience
it creates more of a divide.
Maybe I'm kind of in the middle there, because I understand exactly what you're saying, but I never thought of it until you brought it up. But once you described it,
like,
I'm in the kind of
section of the middle in which, like, I consider myself in the middle, because
you're in the lower end of the middle.
I'm in the lower end of the middle. You're kind of
upper middle.
Upper mid, I guess.
Middle, upper.
Something like that.
Almost to the upper level, but not quite.
Yeah.
There's like a step above, which would probably be like your father. He'd be like the upper level.
I actually consider him on the other side of it. Like, he's not even in there.
Ah, he's not even in it!
I mean, I'm keeping it real.
Oh, he's keeping it real, Tom. That's funny, dude.
Thank you.
Well,
I mean, I'm just being honest. He really is kind of like just outside of the range that's like...
Yeah. No, I mean,
like, he's in range enough that he could learn it if he wanted to, but, like...
But I feel that
I don't know if he wants to.
I feel that other people his age, though, are in it. I think he's just not because he doesn't have to be.
Right. Well, I mean, with YouTube, he kind of does have to be now.
Kind of, but you do a lot of that for him, other than like the tweeting and stuff. I think that he would understand what you were saying, because I feel that Twitter. He cares about his Twitter family. He has
right.
So there's an emotion there. So that thread is what's called is that emotion. That's the connection. Is Twitter. Twitter's that thread for him and all the people he finds in his Twitter family. So I think the
only problem is that, like, I think that because, like, people of, like, his generation or older are so used to these personal connections that they're trying to apply those in the wrong scenario. So, like, they're trying to apply these, like, close personal connections and, like,
in a real life situation.
Right.
Like you're saying, if somebody tells me to quit YouTube, I'm a fat F, and it doesn't matter what I think. Where if that happened in real life, I'd be like, "Are you kidding me, dude? Like you really like?"
Right.
And there, it's like, well, this guy, there's no real.
There's like nothing. Yeah, you get it.
Yeah. See, I'm in the lower upper level of the situation, Tom. But I think that this conversation took a different turn.
It did.
But I think it was a good one.
It was a good one, yeah.
Right. I think that it's not a nice day out here, guys, and that's kind of chilly.
You probably hear the rain.
Yeah, hopefully you can hear us. I'm sure you could, but I
have no doubt about that.
I guess that's it until next time, right? I guess we'll be here and we'll keeping it real.
Yeah.
I forget how we do this.
So do I. I'm still like used to the long outro.
Yeah, me too. I know we don't do that
so
anymore.
It's like I don't remember the new shorter intro or outro. I mean,
we throw a catchy the flip side. That's what I used to say.
Well, see you at the lounge next time. Whatever.
Peace.
See ya.
We nailed that though.
That we did. Good job.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. Woo!
Good enough high five.